you buy, hindi ka po tatakbuhan or alam mo kung saan ka magko-complain. Nevertheless, we also understand that a lot of our online merchants are just beginning or household merchants, and they may not have their own redress mechanisms to address yung mga complaints. So also under the Internet Transactions Act, we're developing the online dispute resolution system, and this one can be used both by for business to consumer and business to business complaints on as regards their online transactions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Chair, pero syempre, definitely may mga violators na dyan. So, anong naging action? May nakasuhan ba dito sa mga scammers na to?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Together with me is Director Gino of Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau. They're also handling yung mga complaints po, yung mga nare-receive natin, and they've received formal charge complaints on these scammers, and they've filed formal charges as well.
Pero meron na bang naparusahan? Dito
May
sa
I
mga
refer, Mr. Chair?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your Honor, sir. For the consumer complaints handling of the Fair Trade Group, if I may just inform the body, for January 2025 to June 2025, we received a total complaints of 18,494. Of this, 3,528 were processed through mediation. So it's not always naman, sir, to penalize or be punitive to the respondents, but we often are able to successfully mediate the parties. And then the 14,000 of those received complaints were referred or endorsed to the proper other agencies or other offices of the DTI.
Okay, thank you, Attorney. Next question. Madam Secretary, how about yung monitoring ng mga presyo sa mga pamilihan o mga pampublikong pamilihang bayan dito sa ating bansa? Nagagampanan ba ito talaga ng husto ng DTI?
Yes, that's a good question, Honorable Congressman. Actually, we are proud to say that for the past 1 year, from August last year until today, we have no price increase for basic necessities and prime commodities. We do a daily check and daily monitor and enforcement po sa lahat ng pamilihan from all the regions, from Region 1 to Region 18. We really have a department po under Gino Malyari also to really make sure that lahat ng presyo ng basic necessities and prime commodities are followed strictly by itong mga nagbebenta po. So far, yun talaga po ang ginagawa. In fact, nasama na rin sa amin yung pag-monitor and pag-enforcement po ng bigas, which is actually under DA. Kasi nga, meron kaming division or meron kaming department that really does the monitoring and enforcement. And for basic prices of basic necessities and prime commodities, we had no price increase for 1 year na po.
Pero Madam Secretary, hindi kayo kinukulang ng manpower sa mga
Of course, kinukulang po. That's why actually part of our budget, yung asks, is to really add more budget para we can get more people to monitor and to enforce, especially in the e-commerce platform. Kasi doon talaga yung mabilis na dumadami yung nagbebenta eh.
Yes, ma'am. Kaya ko lang natanong. Kasi sa lalawigan ng Laguna, ma'am, parang isa lang yung nagmo-monitor sa buong probinsya. So, kaya tinanong ko kung gaano ka-effective yung monitoring yun ng presyo. So,
correct.
Ngayon, since kayo naman ay nag-ask ng additional para sa personal services, so that's good. Para at least mas ma-maximize natin yung monitoring sa ating mga bawat bayan at bawat probinsya dito sa ating bansa.
Yes, correct. Maraming salamat po.
That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Amante. Next in line, Representative Nico Daza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To my colleagues and attendants, our former President, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, now Congresswoman, and our good Secretary, Secretary Roque, and the DTI family, our guests and attendants, maupay nga aga sa ating tanan. Before I begin my questions, I would like to highlight, no, under the guidance and the leadership of Secretary Roque and the DTI family, our provincial government of Northern Samar has worked together to showcase our local trade and craftsmen, especially during our annual festival, the Ibabaw Festival. With that, I'm very grateful, and I only hope that we continue to deepen our collaboration with the DTI. Now, in line with the ease of doing business, no, one of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs is the regulatory bottlenecks. Can you clarify, or with your budget, which programs or reforms that are being prioritized to reduce red tape and help our MSMEs, especially those in rural provinces, to grow faster?
Thank you, Congressman. For the red tape, no, there's actually the ARTA now, the anti-red tape department, which is being handled by Secretary Nes Perez. So that's a totally different department now. But for us, here in DTI, we really try to at least work on it within the Department of Trade. Like for the foreign investors, they actually go to the DTI office, and then we connect them, or we set the meeting with me together with the different cabinet secretaries that are involved in the different problems also of these businessmen. But for the businesses that are in the provinces, we have the regional offices that can actually help them, and we also have the negosyo centers that can actually assist them. So if in case they're not being assisted, they can actually call the regional, can call the head office, and then we have the report to sec at dti.gov.ph, where they can report everything that they may want us to do or that they want to get done. So we're very aggressive on this, especially that we want the business to be going. We don't want businesses to be lagging behind, because we understand that first, naglagay na sila ng puhunan. Number two, the employees already. And we don't want jobless people also. So they need to take advantage of the different negosyo centers all over the country, which is 1,408 already. And also the regional offices all over the country. Plus, they can go to ARTA if the business is quite substantial. They can go to ARTA, and ARTA can assist them also. But we're going to be establishing also green lanes for MSMEs. That should be done within this year.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to thank the good secretary. I'm quite happy to hear that DTI is quite proactive in making the use of business not much easier, no? But I'm glad you brought up as well the ARTA compliances. As we know, in the Ease of Doing Business Act, there are 6 compliances. I would like to know from the DTI, are we compliant with those 6 ARTA compliances? And if you have a report that you could furnish to the committee, I would respectfully ask for one as well.
I'll check first if we get reports from ARTA, because that's a different department, so I'm not sure if we have that. But for one of the most number of needs of the MSMEs is the FDA, so the Food and Drug approval or Food and Drug permit. So DTI is working very closely now with DG Fenton. So we've told him to establish an MSME hotline. So since a lot of the products in the provinces are mostly food, or let's say cosmetics, then they can actually go to the MSME hotline, which we will be launching in the next month or latest in the next 2 months. Because we realized that ito talaga ang main deadlock ng mga produkto sa provinces.
Mr. Chair, it's often that DTI will champion inclusive innovation. I'd like to ask, in the budget of DTI, how do we ensure that investments and support don't just only flow to Metro Manila or urban centers, but also to far-flung areas such as mine in Northern Samar?
Actually, that's really a good question. No, for now, we let the foreign investors actually choose where they want to open their manufacturing or their assembly plant or wherever they want to put their investment, as these are private sectors also, so they get to choose. So maybe what we can do is we can get information from your different provinces so that we can offer it also, because actually I've also informed a lot of these investors that they should do due diligence when they choose a province, because some of the province, the trust is culture and heritage or tourism. So sometimes the permits are difficult, but there are some provinces where industrialization, modernization, technology is being pushed. So the permits or the licenses are faster to get. So if we can get information from each and every province that you hold, we can offer it to these foreign investors.
Mr. Chair, in line with the response of the good secretary, is there perhaps legislation that we can push for that can help ease kind of these permits that you speak of, so that we can attract more foreign investment or local investment to our rural areas?
Actually, that's really the problem of the investors, is the permits, is the licenses. Doon talaga sila nagkakaproblema. So if we can really find a way to get these things going, then we can get more investors, definitely, especially in the different province that want to make it easier than other provinces. And then you may also want to accredit some of your areas, yung malalaking areas, through PEZA, through an economic zone, so that because these investors, once they hear it's an economic zone, or let's say it's like the Luzon Economic Corridor, they feel that these are the areas where it will be easy for them to open the business. It's more flexible, the permits are easier, and the incentives are there. So for the provinces that you have in your cities or provinces, we can separate an area that could be an economic zone.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I have no further questions. I would just like to manifest my support for DTI. I've been, as this representation, I've seen the great impact that the DTI has, especially in our province. And so it is my hope that we only continue our collaboration and continue to strengthen and deepen those ties. Maraming salamat po sa ating DTI family. Thank you for your time. With that, I yield back my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Daza. Next in line, former President Representative Gloria Macapagal Arroyo.
But I would like to begin, of course, by echoing my other ex-DTI officials in supporting the operations and the budget of DTI. And I don't want to wait until the plenary to move for an increase in budget, but I want to do it right here in this committee. So I have three questions. One is related to the ecozone locators concerns. Create very specifically, gave an exemption and the transitory provisions for those who were already registered before CREATE was established, that they could continue their incentives, all their incentives, until 10 years later or 2034. But then the revenue regulations or the DOF IRR at that time ignored that exemption. And we had hearings here in aid of legislation on why are they ignoring that exemption. And the result was create more, which reinforced the exemptions of those already previously registered in the ecozones. But again, now the BIR revenue regulations ignore the transitory provisions whereby the